Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am very, very, very excited for my interview today. One of the best metal bands out there, and I have today with me the lead singer, Lena Scissorhands from Infected Rain. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words, and thank you for having me.
Very excited. Now, I know you just got back from tour
Yes.
really not that long ago, right?
Yeah, a little over a week. It still feels like it's a dream because the tour this year felt very long because basically we had 3 tours in a row, which almost gave us an impression that it was like just one long tour. So it still, like, I'm home now, and it still feels like in the evening I have to prepare for the show. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good place to start then. Let's talk about touring before we get into even the new record or anything. Um, you have legions of fans out there, and a lot of people, either live or on YouTube, have seen what your stage show looks like, and energy is the one word that I can use to describe it best, I think. Um, so just describe your stage show, what a live set is for you.
Well, it is, like you said, you have to like visit the show to understand it. But we definitely have a very important goal as a band, is to deliver a message. And the message normally is very emotional, very emotional. Either it is something more like social or more personal or global theme of the song. But whatever the theme of the song is, that is what we are trying to deliver through the music, through our movements, through our skills on stage and skills as musician, through every single detail is important for us. And we are not really doing a lot when it comes to production on stage. Like, we don't have special effects on stage or too many gadgets here and there, for 2 reasons actually. Main reason being that it is unfortunately not that easy to travel with having all this equipment. And second reason is because after COVID, we didn't know what to expect in the from the club shows, from the stages of festival. We didn't really know what the capacities will be, what the feedback from the people would be, how much is it still out there or not. When it comes to the show business, unfortunately, is the one I don't know, I guess, area of that suffered the most, because when everybody else were back in their offices and their, I don't know, whatever they work, we were still home. Actors, artists, musicians. I feel like we had to start way later. So because of that, that is another reason why we can't have too much on stage. So that, of course, will change with time. We do have cool ideas about how to present the band production wise on the next level as well, together with our record label. Of course, everybody wants to add to the show even more. So that's why it's, in the end, it's all up to the musician now. So all eyes are on you. Besides the banner with the name of the band, that's all we have on stage, is just us. So we just try to deliver. So other than that, I don't want to add more to when it comes to the live shows, because it's an experience that you have to just try yourself. Even people that are not into metal often tell us how impressed they were by the performance and how much fun they had, despite the fact that this is not even the genre they're into.
Well, and I think it's an important point for me anyway. sometimes you get a band who puts out a great record and can't play live, or sometimes you get a band that plays great live and the albums are just not that exciting. But for you to be able to put out a great album, a hard album, something like that, and then go to the stage and just deliver it, like you said, without props, without anything else. I think the best bands are doing what you're doing exactly.
Thank you. Thank you. We're trying our best.
So you've played some smaller venues and you've played some really like festival
Yep.
type of things. Do you like one better than the other?
It is hard to pick. It all depends. Certain club shows I wish I could erase from my memory. I will be honest. I'm all honesty here. Like a lot of fans would not like to hear that. This is nothing against the fans that come to your show. This is completely and fully only because of how poorly the people that own that venue think about musicians, how little they care about musicians and the people that pay the ticket to come in. No AC, no emergency exits, zero, there's so much like that can be dangerous that I have to always like be alert that what's happening, what just happened, you know? And unfortunately, that is the only reason why I would say that club shows very often suck. Like even big ones, like we played even during this past tour. I remember being so excited about this specific venue. I'm not going to do any names, but it was a very big venue. It was almost sold out. So big venue, tall ceilings, perfect, right? But it was so poorly. I don't know what exactly happened there, but there was no air at all. After the first song, there was sweat literally dripping down my face, on my clothes. Like people were getting like shortlisted because it was impossible. So like literally after every single song, I would see black in front of my eyes. No oxygen, nothing to breathe with. And that is very sad because people do pay for this tickets to be at these venues. And even if they decide not to support and jump around or be super close and they are somewhere, they sit or stay somewhere remotely in the back, they still don't have enough. And then that puts us under the spotlight because some of the people, they don't know that we are feeling uncomfortable on stage, so we still have to deliver no matter how uncomfortable we are, right? So unfortunately, that's a big thing. However, even festivals can sometimes be planned, I don't know, either poorly or weirdly, or maybe just people that build the stage in a certain way didn't think that, hey, this is exactly where the sun rises and the sun is going to kill the musicians on stage or something. So like when the sun goes down, all the light is on stage. So we're talking about summer festivals. We're not talking about a sunlight that is barely out there. We're talking about feeling your feet caught fire. Insane. So yeah, I had a situation during this tour, for example, on a festival where I was so severely dehydrated that I couldn't walk for an hour. My legs stopped working. So yeah, next day I had to play at a very important festival for our career, and I was terrified. I couldn't sleep all night. How emotional I was because I was so weak physically because of what just happened. But everything went well, thankfully. I know how to take care of myself, and everything went great. But there's ups and downs in both. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to choose. And if we are talking about people in general, I don't mind, club shows where you feel more like family gathering, when it's like, I don't know, 300, 500, 1,000 capacity max, in comparison with like 20,000 people, 50,000 people that are watching you at the same time. Both have their own, like, I don't know, cool aspect to it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I know right now, building kind of on what you said, a lot of artists that I've talked to, there's kind of this awakening about being treated better by venues and things like that. I know some artists are being forced to pay to get a spot to play somewhere instead of the club paying them to come, and taking money from your merch sales and giving you poor conditions to play in. So I think right now there's a real kind of awakening and standing up by the musicians to say, hey, this is kind of a problem.
Yeah, times, I mean, times change, attitude and conditions of promoters or whoever owns the club change as well. It all depends, I guess, on the band. I am sure that depending on the band's following, the conditions are different, because if the promoter has doubts that this band will bring people, then they either rent the place to the musicians, and that's how they take money for it, or maybe they ask a certain amount of tickets to be sold by the band, so they guarantee, like, I don't know, a 50 people presence at the show or something. We don't feel that, we don't really have this at the, like, at the level where the band is currently. But I remember when we were, way smaller there, and we were trying to book, where we were independent for many, many years. So many shows and tours we did ourselves. We booked ourselves. So yeah, many, many places they would be like, okay, you can play here, but we will have a cut from your income, or okay, you can play here, but you have to guarantee this amount of tickets to be sold, or something like that. So I believe it all varies from band to band, from country to country, from promoter to promoter. It's so different nowadays, definitely. But I'm sure it was different, uh, 20 years ago also. So I don't know, it evolves, or it mm, for the best, or for the not the best. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some music now. Again, you have a pretty new album out.
Almost a year, yeah.
Almost a year, yes. This year I consider it for fairly new. I have so much music that I listen to that I'm like trying to catch up with everybody. Um, I love the album.
Thank you.
Um, I feel like and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like it's a little bit harder than your last album. At least,
I think it's definitely a little bit darker, because almost every single song in this album has the element of frustration, the element of, I don't know, the darkness is there, in every single, like, I write the lyrics for the band. So I remember when I was working on the lyrics, I remember thinking that, like, it is a mirror of what was happening before COVID and during this insane um, time that we had to face, like that was so new for the entire planet, that we had to all face and go through. And I mean, it wasn't easy for anybody. So now the way the world changed during, like, this time, it's somehow there. Relationship between people, relationship between countries, all of that is in there. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, shit is still happening. Like, look at all this war that it's all over the place. Every single day I wake up from messages from people that follow me to support something that is happening in their country. Every single day, couple of messages at least. And I read every single message. I still do. I don't neglect any message that was directed to me. The only reason, if I don't respond, the only reason is either because I don't know what to do, or because you were not polite, or something like that. But I also always answer. So what I'm trying to say is, every single day seeing what's happening, I don't even watch news, I don't even read Facebook, I don't even have to. And But I feel like during that time when we were recording and writing and composing, um, it was just like I had to put it down on the paper and I had to, sing and scream about it. So it is probably why this album feels a little heavier, because it is in a way darker. We didn't change our tuning. We didn't try to be heavier. We didn't. Like, we just went with what felt right at the moment.
Yeah, I could really feel that more really raw emotion coming out in this record and a lot of the songs. Um, are they almost always in previous albums included? Is it almost always from a personal place that you're writing your lyrics?
All the time, yeah, all the time. I variate between like my personal feelings, my personal emotions, that are like super personal. So it would be like towards a person or a friend or a family member, or I don't know, somebody that I care about that hurt me a lot, or that hurt themselves a lot, or that like this type of injustice is something that doesn't uh, even let me sleep in the night, like those thoughts that are eating me alive. I just try to put them down on the paper. But very often it is a little bit more global, like what's happening with our planet, our, I don't know, I don't write about politics at all, but I can see what's happening in the world. So like all these injustices about like all this uh people that sit on thrones and they think that they can tell you what to do, things like that. I put in writing for sure.
Okay. Well, you actually answered my next question. Uh, I was going to mention that I feel like you have a lot of nature kind of themes running throughout the album. So it's not just personal, emotional stuff, but it's kind of this, worldwide
But it is
nature.
personal though. It is because
Yeah.
it touches me a lot, like I try to do my part, and I feel like my part is not just being good with what I consume, how I consume it, like the everything that is connected with my like everyday life routine. That would be great if everybody thought at least a little bit about that. But it's not enough. So because I have this super powerful instrument, which is my microphone. And even if one person will listen to what I have to say, to me is enough, And maybe that will touch that person deeply and will make that person think about their, behavior, their the way they think or the way they see our planet. Everybody takes it for granted, but we are gonna like it's gonna die. It's gonna die.
Yes, I agree with you there. So I like hearing somebody who brings those kind of things into the light. So I appreciate that
Thank
as
you.
well. So talking more about the album, since I'm the interviewer, I get to pick my favorite songs and
Okay, do it.
ask
Do
you
it.
about them. So actually, my favorite songs on the new album were the Postmortem songs to begin and end the album. So if you could tell me how they came about, that would be great.
Absolutely. It's very interesting because Postmortem was a poem that got the name and everything almost right away, but it's older. I wrote it around the time when we were recording and writing for the previous album, album number 4, Endorphin. And it didn't end up on that album. I just didn't feel so. The way it works for us specifically, we write and compose separately all the time, no matter what. We don't really wait for the time when, hey, is the time to write a new album. Let's sit and compose, right? Yes, we do that, but we work with what we already have and we shape, change, add, eliminate, depends, So that's kind of how I feel comfortable working. I was never in a different band, so this is just how it works well for me, it works well for the band, so I just do it that way. So I just write ideas down, no matter what, no matter when. And this I wrote long ago. It is basically about a person that used to be in my life that I used to care and love very much, and that that person was making very poor decisions, and that person was going down. Like, instead of evolving and going up, I was feeling like this is going nowhere. And unfortunately, I could see that, you call it decay, right? Is that the correct word to use here? It just hurt me so bad to see that, because I did not expect that from that person. I did not know that about that person, because sometimes when you love so much, I don't know, a member of your family, a friend, or a coworker, somebody you know all your life, or maybe somebody that is your significant other, and it's in your life even like recently, but still your emotions and your feelings towards that person are so strong that they blind you, and you don't see all these flaws. You don't see, we all have flaws, all of us, but certain things are just very serious, and if they don't agree with your values, then it becomes a big problem. So over here, I would just constantly see this person in a constant search of something that this person thought was better. So this is why I named this person the hitchhiker. So the hitchhiker in Postmortem is this person that is trying to constantly um, search for something better, search happiness somewhere else, instead of seeing it in front of his face or her face, right? So that's why I I say hitchhiker, where are you trying to go? Where exactly where exactly are you going? You don't even know yourself, and all you take with you is just some things that don't matter. Because that's why Postmortem, I wanted to call it this way, because of death being a very important part of our life. People take it for granted, and they live their life so reckless, and they think that all these physical things that they surround themselves, um, how to say, complete them, I guess, as a person, but they don't, because when you die naked, like when you were born. You born naked and you die naked. You can't take anything with you, but you can leave something. You can leave something behind you. When you die, you can leave something. What you leave behind you is what's important. And that's what I tried to deliver with this message, is that where are all the values? People constantly, specifically this person that I read about as well, I call him a man of dignity and values. People say they have dignity and values, but they really don't. When it comes to the point, they become very selfish, and they have zero values about everything. They don't care about you, nature, their house. They take everything for granted. And then eventually, they are depressed constantly, and they don't know why. This is what happened to me specifically. And this person was constantly depressed, even though this person had everything he or she ever dreamed about. And it was so sad to witness. So that's why I had to write about it. Now, Postmortem Part 2 is obviously about the same thing. I literally add a little bit to it. Because we wanted to, in a way, conclude the album with the same theme, same mood. I was asked by my musicians if I think that I could evolve any of the songs into two, part 1 and part 2. And it was a super easy answer for me, because I knew it was going to be Postmortem. Especially when I heard the melody, and I knew that this song will go with these lyrics. Because then when my musicians write music, they give me everything they have, and I am the one choosing which song gets which lyrics and what name, and then then we work from there. Sometimes I do explain what I'm trying to deliver to my musicians. Sometimes it's not even necessary. So yeah.
Wow. Again, I love it, and I feel like it kind of fits even uh, when you chose the title for the album too,
Mhm.
which is kind of the shedding of skin, right? It's
Yeah,
morphing, evolving.
yeah.
Um, so I
Metamorphosis in
feel like,
nature. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that that really goes well. In fact, the songs. I mean, you chose great songs to fit with your theme in this. So it was that an album title that you knew you were going to work with, or did that come out of the songs?
Yeah, that was actually a very pleasant surprise from Vidic. He is very good with ideas in our band. He is uh, the creator of many, many things in our band. He's super talented like that. Um, and he was saying, I was thinking about this word and what it means, and I think it fits perfectly for the world right now. And I was thinking, do you think we can work with it for the album? And that's when I right away, because that happened, he gave me this idea. He told me, shared his idea with me right when we sat down to think about the music video for Postmortem, because we knew it's going to be our single, our first single from the album. And I told him, to be fully honest with you, I was thinking about, because I very often in Infected Rain's music videos, I have this second role besides being the singer. I very often have this, like, I'm a creature of some sort, or a demon of some sort, something else, and which I absolutely love, because I get to get super creative about what I'm wearing, and I love that very much. And I love when the plot and the theme of the music video actually allows me to do so. So I thought about being a something that will come alive, like being this cocoon that will, like, come alive into something that you cannot describe. In fact, when I was creating this entire look, I wanted to not look like anything. I didn't want to look like a human or like alien. I wanted to be something completely, like, different. So that's why I covered my tattoos. I covered the color of my hair. It was all one color. I had no color on my face, because I also am super tired of all the racial problems in the world. So I wanted to not have a color at all, and just be this creature that just is born, like, out of this cocoon, and there's life everywhere. There's life everywhere. So that idea transformed into, like, connected to ecdysis, and then now it has even more meaning. It's like, it's possible to change. The change is possible. It happens in nature all the time. If you have certain problems with certain things mentally, or with your attitude, or you can learn, you can be a better person, you can be a different person for yourself, not for somebody else, for yourself, and then for somebody else, and then for the planet, and for everything. The life can be different. I try my best to work on that myself every single day. I like reading and working on certain things as much as physically possible, of course. But I wish that everybody did a little bit of work, because we live, unfortunately, in a society that is very, very lazy to do everything, to work, to evolve, to learn, to everything. Our society don't even go out anymore. Like, you can order everything that comes to your place, and you can just be home. And it's scary. It's very convenient, but it's very scary, because how lonely does it sound? I'm sorry, it sounds so lonely. Like, I don't know.
I no, I agree. I think we look at it, and sometimes we can't look past that it's convenient.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think that this is great. The society we live in, the gadgets we have. Look at us. We are speaking. I don't even know what part of the planet you are in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we are speaking, and we see each other in a live. We are live right now. Me and you talking, right? This wasn't possible even 10 years, maybe what? 12 years ago. I remember it wasn't possible to even have like a camera on your phone to take a picture with you or something. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I am grateful for all these gadgets and if the things that evolve so much. Look, I surround myself, I'm right now in my living room, and I surround myself with so many robots, like different kinds. But it's how you use them. It's how you use this in your advantage without going down, without becoming, you know, now a lot of people will judge me for using this word, but becoming lazy and fat and not moving an inch to even brush your teeth. You know what I mean? Like, do something about it. Do something about your house, your life, your relationship. Work on your relationship with your parents, with your siblings, with your friends. Put a little bit of effort, and that's it. That's all you have to do. And you're going to be waking every day having a smile on your face instead of being, you know, having this like gray days.
Well, I think we are kind of as a global society losing that human interaction. I think there's less and less.
Absolutely, and you're right. But what do you do to fix it? Use your phone, call, FaceTime people. No, don't just text.
Yeah.
People don't even pick up their phone because, oh, it's weird. You called me. I'm like, no, it's not weird. It's weird to text each other. That's what's weird. Let's talk. You know, like it's in our hands. That's what I'm trying to say. You're absolutely right. We are losing it.
Let me ask you one more album related question.
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. It went in a different direction.
No, that's what I do. I just love to talk, and you know, I could sit here and talk to you for like hours about things, but do you have a favorite song on Ectasis?
Well, it is definitely very difficult to choose because it's like asking a parent to choose their children. You know what I mean? Like it's so difficult. But I think there is one song that, in my opinion, is a little bit underrated. Not, I don't know, it didn't get, there are many people that love this song, but we didn't do a music video for it or anything. So it's not like the single of the album. It's called Showers. But again, it's just a very heavily emotional song for me. And Goodbye as well. It was a song that was very difficult to record for me. I had a panic attack while recording it. It took hours for me to be able to finish recording that song. Yeah, but I love every single song on this album. I really do, because in a way it's like a part of me. It's about something connected to me or someone connected to me, you know? So I don't know. It's difficult to choose.
But I think it's better that way. If I talk to somebody and they said, well, I have one favorite and the rest are all filler.
Yes, sure.
As I wrote down songs that were some of my favorites, Goodbye is on there too. I really liked, for me, it's very haunting. I liked hearing more of your clean vocals in there as well. The other one that I picked actually is These Walls.
Yeah, This Walls is also another it was very therapeutic for me to write about it. And it's something I wrote about for the first time, actually. And in a way, I think it's thanks to all the books and all the, you know, mental things that I get passionate about to learn. This Walls has such a strong theme about how and who we let in our lives, basically, and the things we allow them to do, which we do subconsciously. We don't realize the liberty and the freedom we gift to people and what they do with it, how they abuse it. Obviously, it's literally about a house. It's about walls and what's happening inside, you know, these walls, and inside the house, it's things that happen behind closed doors that people don't really know about. But obviously, metaphorically, all I meant is our inner world. And the strongest thing I could say in this song, which every single time I hear this song, every single time it's brought up, the only one thing that I can think about is take your shoes off. You're in my house. You don't get to do what you want because it's not fair. Take your shoes off. There's no place for lies and dirt here. No place, because I choose so. You can choose what you want for your own house. So yeah, that's definitely a very strong song for me as well.
Good. I think I'm almost at the end of the questions that I had for you today, but actually two that I have left. Can you tell me specifically what some of your musical influences were, or what you're listening to right now? What do you love?
It's difficult to answer this question every single time I'm asked, because I feel like everything influences me. And not just music, literally everything. I'm one of those losers that every time I read a book or I listen to some music or I watch a movie, I take notes. You know what I mean? Like I have notebooks on my coffee table where I watch movies, because sometimes just an idea or a word or a situation can inspire me so much and I just write it down. Sometimes I don't even come back to it, but sometimes I do. Often I don't even use what I write, but I take notes. I notice things that many people don't notice right away, or they notice after, or they don't notice at all. And it's not because I'm so special, it's just how I'm so infatuated with art and music and movies. I watch a movie every day, almost every day, even on tour sometimes, like, because it's a me time that I decide to have, and it doesn't matter. I watch every different genres. I'm more passionate about horror movies, but I watch all kinds of movies and all kinds of things that I don't care. Same with music. Like, I cannot live a day without listening to a little bit of music. I wake up in the morning while I'm making breakfast, I'm listening to music. And often it's Queen, or I don't know, Duran Duran, or Michael Jackson. It's like completely different from what I am like doing right with my band. But when I'm in my car or at the gym, I like to listen to the heaviest thing on the planet, like, I don't know, Black Tongue, Lamb of God, Thy Art Is Murder. I don't know, bands like this. Last 10 Seconds of Life is something I've been listening to a lot lately. It's like I just heard new Slipknot album drop today, so I'm planning to listen to that today, for example. Like, like, I think that depending on what I do, I have my own like soundtrack. Yeah, by the way, that's another thing that I love listening to, movie soundtracks. If I watch like a show or a movie that I loved, the music is something I pay attention to as well, I always listen to it. The soundtrack that I've listened so many times is for the movie I Origins, which is a great movie. If you guys didn't see it, watch it. It's super cool. And the music is so, so awesome. Like, but yeah, I can't pick one song or one book or one band, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot. And I feel like it should be this way. Everything inspires me. Like, sometimes it's not even this. It's people, life situations, nature, being outside with my dog, paying attention to certain things that surrounds me. Everything can inspire you to create. You just have to be awake and see it. That's the problem of our society. Again, people sleepwalk and they don't even notice that it's sunny outside sometimes.
One more question I have, and it actually just popped up yesterday. I saw a video of you making pumpkin soup or something that looked really yummy.
Yes.
Do you love to cook?
Very much. I am the oldest sister. And so I'm the first child in the family. And when my sisters were younger, I had to start helping my mom in the kitchen a lot. So in the beginning, it felt like it's chores, you know, like helping cut this, clean this, wash this, peel this, you know. But then all of a sudden, like when my mom especially was not home, I would be like, okay, you know, let me take over in the kitchen. So I started cooking super early. I think I was 7. And I don't know, just eventually I was the one cooking in the family. And but I always loved it all the time. And I love being creative. I love following certain you know, pages with like super good, clean and organic you know, cooking. So yeah, I love cooking. Yeah. In fact, I have a YouTube channel where I put all kinds of shit, and that's one of the things I love to share is like being creative in the kitchen. Sometimes it's cool. It's therapeutic, really. People should try to do that more.
Yeah, I love to cook as well, so I appreciated that video. I'm
It
gonna look for some
is
more.
that for your mental health.
Yeah.
Isn't that like people underestimate it? It got so easy to order food and so much cheaper to eat out than buying your own ingredients and cooking at home. And I don't blame people. Like it is very often more convenient, faster, and cheaper than doing it yourself. However, the experience and especially if you have somebody to cook for as well and share that experience together or to cook with, especially, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, good. I appreciate that. I love that you're a cook too.
Yeah.
Last thing, is there anything that I didn't ask you today that you really wish I would have asked you?
Um, I think we went a little bit about, you know, things here and there about a lot of different topics. Um, I think you did great. I had fun having this conversation with you, you know. The only thing that I probably could add is about what we started speaking about. It's about tour life, um, and maybe bring to people's attention that it is not always just party and fun, you know. Um, I don't know, for some reason, musicians included, people just think that's what it's supposed to be. But mainly for our fans, I want to thank everybody for being so supportive, and we had 98 shows, I believe, in around 5 months, I'm sorry. And it was definitely not easy, but it's not the shows that makes it not easy. It's the travel and it's being far from your home. You know, it's for so long. And it unfortunately has its ups and downs. So I want to say thank you for everybody that, in their own little way or big way, supported and helped the band, especially during this like heavy times, like prior to the touring, now like during COVID, and during this year of heavy touring. Um, I'm very grateful for having people supporting, people loving, and people visiting the shows actually. So just that part, probably. That's all.
Okay. Well, if you're watching and you haven't really listened to Infected Rain very much, definitely go check it out. The new album is a great place to start, for sure. Um, Support your bands, go out and see people live. It's the way to go, for sure. Lena, thank you very much for talking with me today. Hopefully we'll keep in touch about future music and tours.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun.
All right.
Thank
Thank you. Have a
you.
great night.
Have a good day.